We've got our monthly Getprice index segment now to take a look at what Australians have been buying online. Let's talk more about it with Chris Hitchen from Getprice. Chris, good to chat to you this month. You've got something interesting that's been a bit of a development since we last spoke.
Yeah, every week, every month, I think we have something interesting. And there's always something quirky that emerges out of the data. And we've seen this month, or last month, that as the government has tried to introduce unit pricing before across supermarkets, we've seen something this month on toilet paper. And
transparent toilet paper pricing.
Transparent pricing on toilet paper, yeah. I don't think the paper itself is transparent, but
pricing
the government wants people to be able to measure, I guess, the cost per wipe, or CPW as we're calling it. And it's all about users being able to compare offline in the shops.
And you can do this. How big a variation in toilet paper? Okay, introduced.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I think there's big variations.
There is, and you'd be glad to know you can find toilet paper on Getprice. There's 4 rolls of 2-ply for $2.31, so that's less than 60 cents a roll. Can't believe the information we come up with here.
And the things that the economic downturn makes us think so much more about, because we have, you know, well established now that we're in probably a recession right now as we speak, and you know, this is being reflected in people's buying habits.
People care about saving a few dollars, and you know, toilet paper is an interesting one. Apparently, some people have problems buying it in the supermarket themselves, so buying online might be the answer.
This is true. This is true. What about the stimulus payments? I mean, have you found that's provided some sort of boost in any particular area?
We've seen some senior economists come out over the last month or so saying that they've seen evidence of that working, and we've seen the same thing on Getprice. Our data shows that on the day, quite clearly on the day of the stimulus, the most recent stimulus package came out, March 12th, Getprice traffic hit an all-time record high.
Wow.
We had 87,000 visits on that one day. So Australians really going to try and see how they can spend that stimulus package. And we've had 18% traffic just over in the last few weeks, an increase of 18%.
Were you able to track in those last couple of weeks exactly what was being looked at? Can you get down into the details that much?
Yeah, so, and it's a similar trend than what we talked about over the last couple of months, which was staying at home. So, you know, if you remember, we spoke about the types of food that people were eating at home. And that had changed from being your expensive steaks to your cheaper sausages and so on. And the trend we've seen over the last month on food and so on was kitchen supplies has been really popular. So people are looking for, you know, the mixers or anything else that you could help to cook at home. We've also seen things like barbecues still remain really popular. Lingerie, women's lingerie was actually a really big one, up 14% last month. Look, harder to see a direct correlation there. Might be something to do with
in-home entertainment
exactly.
Because that's what we talk about with the subscription television industry as well. It's the cocooning effect. People stay at home and spend more money in their homes instead of going out for entertainment as much. And domestic holidays, is that still, because that's something we've mentioned in the past?
Still really popular, domestic holidays. And it seems as though what we can tell that the stimulus package, the increase in traffic, people have been looking at TVs as well. I mean, any excuse to go and buy a flat screen TV, really.
Does that ever drop off, though?
It's always popular, but we've seen an increase since the stimulus package. So, and I guess that's what the government wanted. And
in terms of the actual retailers people are looking at, you know, we're seeing in the United States Wal-Mart. We hear a lot about that benefiting in the downtimes because people know that they can get better prices. Are we seeing that here as well?
Absolutely. We've seen some figures come out this week, talk about Kmart, Coles, Target. The Daily Telegraph was talking about the value retailers and how they're benefiting in this downturn, and it's exactly the same as the data that we see. And I think that the downturn at the moment has presented an opportunity for some of the big retailers in Australia to think about how they're selling to their audience, to their customers. And a lot of them aren't doing enough online, but we've seen that change in the last 6 months. The investment that they're putting into online is changing. So you've got people like Officeworks, Myer, JB Hi-Fi, Clive Peters, Dick Smith, big retailers saying that they're going to invest in e-commerce because they understand that consumers are going online to compare prices.
Can you think of any names that you think are really dragging the chain on that sort of subject? The ones that really you think should have been online by now?
There are quite a few of the big household names in Australia that aren't yet selling online. There's a long list of them. And some of those have tried before and failed. Perhaps the audience wasn't there 10 years ago. But the time is right. Consumers are online looking for bargains, and you know the retailers need to make sure that they're speaking to the consumers in that way and through that channel.
Figures are showing, in fact, that consumers do plan to spend more online. They see it in their own lives as being quite important.
Absolutely. There's a US price comparison site very similar to Getprice called Price Grabber. They did a study last month with over 4,000 US consumers, and 94% of them said that they want to spend more time comparing prices online, given the current climate, and 93% say they'll spend more time buying online. So everything we look at is telling us, from overseas and locally, that consumers are going online to compare prices and to actually buy products as well, and retailers need to take note. It's an environment where they're struggling to go and open new stores, perhaps, so an investment in online is, I think, the alternative.
And you can even check the price of toilet rolls and compare them per sheet, which is just fascinating. So thank you very much, Chris Hitchen, for updating us on the latest month, and we'll speak to you in about a month's time.
Look forward to it.
That's Chris.